Welcome back to another complex topic with the Complex Brothers are Too Complex. We appreciate y'all for clicking on this video. We think you're going to enjoy it. But before you get into the content, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also hit the notification bell so you don't miss none of the bangers of future content we drop. We love y'all. Enjoy the video. There is a very, very popular streamer named Kai Cenat who does reaction videos. He's a streamer that does a lot of everything on his stream, from dancing to bringing on celebrities to gaming to giveaways, 24-hour streams. Like he's the biggest streamer on Twitch as of right now.
He's done 24-hour streams before?
He's done like literally on stream for 24 hours. Yes, he's done that before. Insane. So everybody knows the Grammys just came and went, and Killer Mike won Album of the Year. And Kai Cenat went on, and because the younger streamers these days are what we call them Gen Z now. They're like, between the ages of 20 and maybe 25. The ones that are really popping. I mean, I would say 20 and 30. The ones that are really popping for real. And they don't necessarily know who Killer Mike is. And for those that don't, who watch our show, and I think everybody who watches our show does know who Killer Mike is, he's more of a conscious rapper, not necessarily within the hype or the mainstream of what actual rap is today, with your Travis Scotts of the world, 21 Savages of the world, even the Drakes of the world. Killer Mike is a little bit more conscious as far as what he talks about in his rap. D-Lo listened to the album. He said it was fire. I didn't personally listen to it, but I know who Killer Mike is. And before I keep going, D-Lo, do you think he deserved Album of the Year?
That album was, yes. The album was good.
Cool.
But it was, I'll get into it. Go ahead.
Right. But so Kai Cenat went on to say that respect to the old niggas for sure. Respect to them for sure. The only thing I would say is I was wrong at doing my research about Killer Mike and shit like that. But in the moment, if I want to voice my opinion, I'm going to voice my opinion 100%. And that's some people's problem. Y'all don't ever let the young dudes flourish. The young dudes think Utopia, which was Travis Scott's album, was fire. Let the young dudes think Utopia was fire. So a lot of them were saying that Travis Scott deserved to win over Killer Mike, which I listened to Utopia. Utopia was okay. It wasn't crazy good. It had some really good songs on there, and it was a good album. I can't really talk because I hadn't listened to Killer Mike, which it's inspired me to go listen to him now. But I hadn't listened to it. But I know the type of rapper Killer Mike is, and I'm going to assume his album was what D-Lo said was fire. But Joe Budden snapped back at the young streamers, and he said, "Y'all little streaming, I'm going to say dudes, all don't always run shit." He said, "Shut the fuck up. We don't care about none of your little streaming, moshpit, Mark Carr, whatever you niggas is doing over there." He said,
you go bleep it out earlier.
I know, but I had to roll with it. He said Utopia. He said more like Utopia. Yeah. I'm just so happy that the streaming, the little fuckity fucks finally have a look in the mirror moment and say, "Oh, it's not about us." No, adults are out. Dudes got pocket handkerchiefs on some fly shit. Yeah, real execs, business people, you little fuckity fucks. So, D-Lo, my question to you is, do the older hip-hop heads not respect the streamers' opinions about what actual hip-hop is? And is it kind of like a get off my lawn moment whenever it comes to this conversation?
So I feel like this particular topic is truly opinion based. There's no real 100%. Evidence or facts that are involved with this. And so, in my opinion, I don't feel like Joe's response or rebuttal to what Kai and those like Aiden felt about the actual album is rooted solely in hip hop. I think it's rooted in a little bit of jealousy, if we're being honest, a little bit of hate, because the young streamers, as we know, they get to the money.
100%.
And they compete with podcasts without actually having to be considered a podcast. Joe has even mentioned it on his podcast a couple of times. He doesn't even want to call his podcast a podcast anymore because of the negative connotation that is seen with it. You know, so many people have podcasts now. So many people get to voice their opinion. He wants to separate himself from that. He calls himself a broadcast, right?
Okay.
So,
got you.
So I feel like it's a little bit of jealousy with the amount of influence that the young streamers have, the amount of love that the young streamers get from their fans. And, you know, yes, the hip hop side of it feels like because the young crowd doesn't know who Killer Mike is and didn't give him the due respect that he needs, then they should use that time. Joe should use that time to downplay their taste in music and also to let them know exactly what hip hop is. I mean, you know, we have our opinion on what the young crowd listens to. We don't necessarily shun it, but we don't listen to everything they listen to. There are some songs that catch our ear from the young crowd listens to, but for the vast majority of it, we don't really listen to that stuff. So I don't feel like what Joe said is really rooted in strictly hip hop. Because you think about it, the first thing he said was, "You young streaming, right? Y'all don't." What did he say? You young streaming.
Y'all don't always run shit.
Y'all don't exactly. Y'all don't always run stuff, and we know midsummer, couple months ago, Joe was beating his chest for being the number one personality in media, right? So that's influence. But now you have to think about just outside of hip hop media. You got to think about who else's influences, because you're not only competing with people in hip hop, you're competing with other people that have an influence in the world. So in order to get your name up there, you got to make sure other people keep their name down. So I feel like it's a little bit rooted in the hate.
It's very much rooted in hate, man, because the streamers, the most popular streamers, like your Aiden Rosses of the world, your Kai Cenats, your Duke Dennises, those type of guys who pull in 20, 30, 50, 100K live viewers every stream, they have influence. So I was watching a video on YouTube, and basically when I was doing my research in this, and as much as we don't necessarily respect Buddy, but DJ Academics came up in the actual video, and he was like, these record execs are offering Kai Cenat dumb money to react to different songs and trying to make sure that his buzz is the actual, like, the what's the word I'm looking for? His buzz is what elevates, basically, for lack of a better word, whether or not they want to put this on radio or whether or not they want to put this single out. So but Kai Cenat turns the money down because he don't want to be that type of dude. He wants his reactions to be genuine reactions, because that's what his audience loves. So when DJ Academic said it, I was like, yo, like, they have more influence than we actually think on the hip hop community. But with Joe Budden being the old school, he got hits, he's had records, he's actually made money in the community. Pump it up, hear that. But no
disrespect to Joe.
And no disrespect. You know, he had a good career whenever when he had Pump It Up, when he was with Slaughterhouse, so he had a good career. Yeah. But this ain't, to be perfectly honest with you, and I'm one of those old head ass. We the old head dudes now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, these young dudes got way more influence than we got, honestly, than we've ever had. So I'm not going to be that get off my lawn dude whenever I know that these dudes are pulling in live viewers over the 50. I stream sometimes. I don't pull in 50,000 viewers ever. Never have done it. So these dudes have influence, and if
in totality,
no
shade to you.
No, and that's fine. I think the most viewers I had at one time was like 20. Let alone get 50,000. But this dude, every time he streams, he's got 20, 30, 40, 50,000 viewers, and he has influence. So these dudes are what the young generation is watching right now. And if they have an influence on the game and they say Utopia was dope, the young generation going to think Utopia was dope as well. I don't even think there's a lot of dudes who know who Nas is or who they know who Jay-Z is. For, you know,
they better know who Nas is, bro.
But some of them don't know who Nas is. Some of them don't really know who Andre 3000 is. Some of them don't know who Killer Mike is. Some of the guys don't know who really came up in the hip hop game and set the culture for real. So
because they
whenever
wasn't born in the height of their
they
careers, right?
Exactly. So now they have people like Killer Mike. I'm not Killer Mike, but Travis Scott running the game, 21 Savage running the game, Kodak Black, Lil Yachty, Drake. Like they came up, they were born in that generation where these guys were coming up. So now it's like they think that these are their favorite rappers. Whenever there were people before them that came that were way doper and had way more lyrics and had better music, because. If I ever hear somebody say Sexy Red is their favorite rapper, I might kick him in the chest 300 style. I'm not gonna lie, because that's not hip hop to me. Like the music now, like D-Lo said, we don't listen to that bullshit. But Travis Scott is somebody who I actually listened to, and I thought Utopia was a good album, but I can't pass my judgment on whether or not it's better than Killer Mike joint. But
see, that's the misconception though, and I think the general public doesn't know that, and we'll talk about that with one of our up and coming topics too. But that is not how the Grammys considers who has the best album. It's not if the actual album itself, if the general public thinks it's dope or not.
Very true.
It's they really base it on the art of the album.
Agreed.
And so if
but do they though? But we'll talk about that in a minute. But go ahead.
yeah. But so if the members of the Grammy Recording Artists Association, I think it's called, if they don't think you've put any artistry in the album, they're not going to vote it as the best album, right? According to what one person, the CEO of the Grammy said. So that being said, like Utopia probably was a decent album. I didn't listen to Utopia. I've never really been a true Travis Scott fan. I listen to him here and there if something catches my ear, but I'm not going to sit and listen to his whole album. And so, but I did listen to Killer Mike's album, and you can tell he put a lot of time, worked with a lot of different individuals to get into the true art of it. And it resonates with certain individuals more than just art because of the lyrics and whatnot. But I don't know. I think with Kai Cenat's reaction to it, it wasn't off of just the true artistry of it. It was just how it makes him feel. It was the popularity of it. And okay, I know I liked it. And I know the type of influence I have, but I know what my generation listens to. How can somebody like Killer Mike win album of the year over, or rap album of the year over Travis Scott's Utopia? Utopia was dope. That's not how they rate and say, oh, this person should win album of the year.
Right, and Kai Cenat also mentioned a couple of other albums, like For All the Dogs, like Utopia, and I'm like, okay, the albums that you were naming were not, they were good, but they weren't like I didn't think For All the Dogs was great. I didn't think it was great. I didn't think Utopia was great. You know what I'm saying? I might have to listen to Killer Mike and determine whether or not that was a great album or if it deserved to win it, which you say he did. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take my brother's word for it. Like D-Lo listened to music just like I listen to music, and he thought it was great.
And we all have our biases, right?
We do. We all have our opinion as well.
Yeah. So exactly. I'm sure you're about to say this. So we can't discredit what the young generation is saying just because we feel how we feel about the music that we want to listen to. 100%. Just like our parents used to look at us like, what the hell are you listening to? This is terrible. Right. Exactly. Turn this off. We're not listening to this. So we are now our parents. Like, what are y'all listening to? And the funny thing is we talking about 22-year-olds. We ain't that much older than them. So we really, but I mean, if you think about it, if you think about how 22 compared to how old we had kids at 16, I mean, it's possible, but realistically, we ain't that much older than them.
I got you. I hear you.
So like, I don't know, man. I definitely think Joe's reaction was rooted in a little bit of hate, and then he also had Killer Mike on his show. So
yeah. And
so
I don't think he's ever had Travis Scott on the show. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think he has. You watch his show more.
Nah, but he does have members of his show that love Travis Scott, but also felt how we felt or how you felt. It's like the album wasn't that great. So,
got you. So I mean, it's one of those things where it's like but it also So it also goes back to what we've been saying for a couple of weeks on the show. Is like, why in our community is it us against each other? Because why can't the young guys just shine, bro? Like, I appreciate what Kai Cenat does in his stream. I appreciate what Joe Budden does in his stream. Why can't it be, yeah, let the young dude have his shine. Let the young dude have his opinion. He thought Utopia was great. I thought Killer Mike's was better. Killer Mike deserved to win the album. Let it be what it is, man. Because Kai Cenat was like, bro, I can buy you. That's how much money he making off streaming. Because I can buy you. Like, but he was like, bro, I be minding my business, and it be dudes like Joe Budden that just pop up and want to start shit. And I'm just like, just let the young dudes shine, bro. Do they thing. Like, I don't have no problem with. And
we do it to ourselves, man.
We do.
We do it to ourselves, bro. Because Joe, like you said, Joe started that rant with you young boys, right? Mm-hmm. And so naturally, what is the young crowd going to respond with? You old. Right. You know what I mean?
Fact.
So like we do it to ourselves. We had this conversation last week. Like, why do we shun getting old so much? And now it's starting. It always plays out this way. We talk about something, and the next week it unfolds in front of us. Mm-hmm. Like we do it to ourselves. If we just allow them to, because we made mistakes when we was young.
100%.
Joe definitely made some mistakes when he was young. He had 100%. A great career. He had a career that's has a lot more notoriety than what we had in ours. But he definitely made some mistakes in his young life. These young people gonna make their mistakes, man. We're supposed to be there to guide them through that. Yeah, sometimes they need a little bit of heavier hand when it comes to how they're reprimanded. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, they're gonna make mistakes just like we made mistakes in life. So we shouldn't be like, you young, even though we do it in a playful way, you and I. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, man. We do it to ourselves.
It is definitely hate, bro. But Kai Cenat, keep doing your thing. Joe Budden, keep doing your thing, man. Because shout out to y'all, because y'all both have platforms that we aspire to have. So, but just keep the hate and the back and forth and the drama and the controversy between somebody else's opinion over yours that don't make no sense to me. People gonna have their opinions, bro. They're like assholes. Like everybody, like the cliche say, everybody has one. So, like, why are we denigrating one person over their opinion because it's not the same as yours, because you feel like hip hop is one way and somebody else thinks it's another? It's a different generation, bro. It's different music out here. The hip hop ain't as good as it used to be, in my opinion. But there's a generation that's gonna love the music that they're hearing, and let them have their opinion. That's all I say.